Dr. Kishan Khoday, resident representative from the UNDP Multi-Country Office in Jamaica, is zooming in now to talk about his call for Jamaica to act now to place nature-based green solutions at the heart of current and upcoming planning, recovery, and reconstruction efforts. Morning, Doc. Good to have you with us this morning.
Good morning, Simone. Great to be with you again.
Yeah, you have said recently that partners are important to help developing nations like ours to work through solutions or ways to recover stronger from storms like Melissa. Tell me a little bit about looking on at what happened with Jamaica, what issues did that raise for you and the folks in your office?
Right, absolutely. Well, I mean, we've been here for many years, United Nations Development Program in Jamaica. And so through recurring disasters over the last 50 years, actually, we've partnered with the government, with communities, with NGOs, with UE, with private sector on trying to have that kind of resilient recovery from different disaster events. Hurricane Melissa, of course, being unique in that it was not only Category 5, but Category 5 plus, very strong. And so the strongest on record in modern history in Jamaica. So it brought significant impacts. And for us, one of the first things we did, of course, was to get to the community level and provide immediate recovery support to communities across Western Jamaica. So
tell me a little bit about your solution now. You're saying we need to act now. I don't know if you saw the interview before now, where the CEO was talking about some of the climate change issues. And some of the conditions that they have given to developers about green spaces. Are we doing enough there, Doc, to are in line with what you are suggesting? How are we doing?
So, one of the first things we did as a United Nations team in Jamaica was to support the government in assessing the losses and damages from Hurricane Melissa, right? So that was completed at the end of last year, published not long ago after various reviews. So that showed $12 billion of losses and damages, the equivalent of 57% of GDP, right? So significant from global and historical records. And a big part of that in terms of losses, 30% of all losses are assessed to be around ecosystems and environment. So over half of the forests have been damaged. For example, in the Cockpit country in Western Jamaica, significant damage to critical resources, critical forests, but soils, mountain systems like that supply a major percentage of river water, watersheds that agriculture relies on, that communities rely on. And so water security is a big thing that took a hit from Hurricane Melissa. Restoring those forests, restoring those soils, restoring that water supply is a critical thing for a green recovery from Hurricane Melissa. On the coastlines, equally important impacts, significant impacts on coral systems, which are a significant base, of course, for fish populations, those fish sanctuaries that fisher communities rely on significantly for their livelihoods, mangrove systems, coral systems. So there's a long list of ecosystems that had significant damage for Hurricane Melissa. And so what we're calling for and what we're actively programming now with partners nationally and locally is the restoration of those ecosystems so that community livelihoods can bounce back together with those ecosystems. And so that those ecosystems can be put in a place where they're resilient to future events, right? So that's part of it, is the natural environment, helping restore that, a critical activity. Equally critical, integrating nature-based and climate solutions into infrastructure buildback, into the buildback of towns, design of buildings and facilities, to integrate low-carbon nature-based technologies and design solutions, again, so that they can be better equipped to withstand future climate disasters across Jamaica.
So, Dr. Khoday, when you say acting now based on the approach you've outlined, would give us results when?
Well, some of these things are quite rapid impact, right? So building back regrowing corals and various parts of the ecosystem takes a while, right? In terms of regrowing back trees, mangroves, corals. So that takes a while, right? So it takes months, years for some of those systems, unfortunately, that have been devastated, right? But as we've seen in Western Jamaica, anybody that's been out there the days after Hurricane Melissa hit, those stark landscapes where bark was stripped and branches and trees were knocked down, you're already seeing, you saw it within couple of months after you saw significant vegetation grow back, right? So nature has a way of also bouncing back on its own, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the critical thing now is that, as major investments start on things like infrastructure and redoing buildings, redoing roofs, and, that some of that hard infrastructure, that's really a call within coming months, really, to integrate into that design process a level of nature-based and climate resilient solutions so that those things can be built back better. And that's what we call the green recovery. That's something that we're launching this year, a number of initiatives with partners to both restore ecosystems and to support that in the planning process, in the national planning and recovery frameworks, to integrate that in there.
Yeah, you mentioned partners. It's a multi-stakeholder approach, is it not? How do we move from here now to start pulling everything together to get to implementation and action?
Right. Well, one thing that we're doing as UNDP is we're working with the Planning Institute of Jamaica, bringing together a working group across various sectors. So there's the international partners, there's various key government actors, there's universities, there's think tanks, there's CSOs, NGOs, and that's going to bring together, as a way of coordinating everything that's happening, seeing where knowledge can be shared, approaches, and where you can really use that as a launchpad for new partnerships. We're doing that also at the local level, by the way. One of the things we're going to be supporting as UNDP is what we call technical assistance centers at the local level. And these will be platforms for bringing in the best practices, best technologies and approaches directly to the communities, right? In concert, obviously, with government, including local government, municipal partners like those you just had on the previous set. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to be really trying to bring it locally to the CSOs, the communities that we work with directly, and the local government, trying to build in that local sustainable development planning, recovery planning at the local level, also with the municipalities, the corporations, and at the parish level, of course, as well. And that community civil society partnership with CSOs and NGOs locally is really a critical element that we're really emphasizing.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be expanding our grants directly to civil society organizations, NGOs and CSOs. We launched recently a call for proposals for grants that go directly to CSOs and NGOs at the local level.
All right, Doc, we have to wrap it up. Thank you very much for the call you've made, for the recommendations you've made, and for working together with our partners here on the ground, as are you,
right, thank you,
to make it reality. Appreciate you joining us this morning, Dr. Kishan Khoday, Resident Representative, UNDP Multi-Country Office in Jamaica. Still to come on Smile, Home It with NHT, but first, second edition